side so that he's enabled the kills needed to transition well towards the game.
All right, so into champion select we go for game one. It will be J Team on the blue side. We have Alpha on red. We're going to start things off with LeBlanc being banned away from Assassin pretty much for the course when going up against Alpha.
During the course of the regular season, though, for Alpha, a lot of the teams really respect the three champions, LeBlanc, Lee Sin, and Rek'Sai. But during the course of the last few moments of the regular season, I think Rek'Sai has fallen a bit off in general into priority. So let's see whether or not J-Team decides to remove Rek'Sai still just for safety.
We do see that Lee Sin ban away from Catjug. That is par for the course, especially considering his performances on the champion when it came to the regular season in spring. He's an absolute monster. Alpha, though, still aiming toward the bot lane as they're also going to go ahead and get rid of the Kalista alongside the Aphelios.
And we did mention before this draft that for J-Team, they really like to focus on Lil V, with the Hana always focusing his ganks, even dives, no matter what side J-Team is in. And that's the reason why Alpha has been focusing a lot on towards this bottom lane. Meanwhile, you know, Varus is still up in the open, or not for misfortune, as is still one of Lil V's comfort picks in the bottom side of the map.
Alright, so no Zoe, and that's been actually a common pickup there for Kior. The Kassadin ban, though, that is self-explanatory. Assassin absolutely loves the champion. That does mean, though, Senna will be available here for J-Team. And usually it's the go-to pickup when left open, especially in the first round if it gets locked in.
Exactly. Does Alpha take away Tom Kench? Do they immediately lock in the Varus in this rotation? I guess not, as Set is indeed open. Ornn is actually open as well, but we did mention that Driver does have a very wide array of champions in his arsenal, whether or not J-Team decides to put him on utility, or as well as the carry will be the biggest question here for this draft.
I like it from Alpha already showing this Set, because Set at the moment can be pretty much quadruple flexed when it comes to positions. You can put him in top lane, you can put him in mid lane, hell, you can put him in the jungle, or you can even put him in support. With the Nautilus being shown, though, especially this early on in the draft, for Alpha, I'm shocked that they didn't decide to just go ahead and try and take away the Kench like you mentioned, opting instead more something that Kino likes to play on. But for J-Team, that means they have themselves the Kench available if they want to go ahead and lock that in, especially now with the Azir already being shown.
Yeah, a lot of priority here for Cure, especially that they've already locked in their potential AD carry. Still, we'll have to see where that's going to go. But now with that Tom Kench getting locked in, that's going to be Senna for Lil V. For Alpha, though, I'm guessing their jungler is going to be their last pick alongside as well, most likely, for Assassin. And now, what are your options? Olaf is still open for Catjug as well, even the Rek'Sai. And for Alpha, they've been experimenting a little bit, especially at the end of the regular season, where they like to play the 5v5s instead of the 2v2s, but with Rock on the set and not on the Aatrox this time around, so it's going to be a little bit different for Alpha.
There you go. It's going to be the Rek'Sai ban coming out here from Alpha on the first rotation in the second ban phase. Also locking in that Varus for Atlan. He has a little bit of flexibility when he wants to go with the build path. I honestly don't see Alpha trying to take this to a late game, though, especially that you see now the Azir and also a Senna that's going to continually scale as the game goes. So maybe we see this Varus go into the lethality route, and this is Alpha going to go ahead and try and end this game very early before that 35-minute mark. If J-Team, though, are able to hold on, I think that's going to be good for Alpha. Meanwhile, though, we do see that Olaf being banned out, which again has been one of Catjug's more aggressive niche champions.
And with the Rek'Sai taken off as well, what does Hana decide to pick up here? As you know, Sejuani is also Hana's go-to when it comes to the later parts of the regular split, considering that this is a very scary team fight. And you did mention that this fits well towards the late game, so at least they have that tanky front line for this squishy back line. And for Alpha, they're actually a little bit blessed at the moment, because there's no backline access for J-Team's side, as far as I can see in the current draft for J-Team.
J-Team, though, they can change that here with this draft if they want to go with something like that Gangplank, which, again, you're looking at this composition from J-Team. This is just screaming. We want to wait until 35 minutes, 40 minutes. We're going to get one good barrel combo off and then just slaughter your team. That's pretty much what J-Team is pretty much showcasing here as far as the draft goes. For Alpha, getting the Akali, though, will be able to try and maybe abuse Kiorb a little bit in the lane, try and get that Azir down early, and then try and, snowball other portions of the map. It's going to rely heavily on Assassin and Catbug to be that lonely squad to unlock the lanes and get them out of that farm state late. For J-Team, though, what do they wish to lock in as their final pickup here? Are we going to see something that's a little bit traditional for them? Do they want to beat the line front tank, or do they want to go with, say, something different and we're going to see a Pantheon jump?
This is going to be the second time we're going to be seeing a Pantheon jungle, I believe. But looking at the Gangplank pick for Alpha, I believe Catjug might have a little bit of feast if it works well. As far as we have seen before in the regular season, Gangplank is the most abused or dived in the top side of the map since there's not a lot of options for you to scale.
Let's go. We're going to get the Kha'Zix lock in here for Catjug. This is a little bit of a shock for me. We've yet to really see a Kha'Zix in the PCS, as you guys can see on the stats there. And for Catjug, I like it. Is it going to be able to go toe-to-toe with this jungle Pantheon is, I think, a good question here. I like that the Pantheon was shown here by J-Team because it pretty much allows Hana to answer in these side lanes for a counter gank relatively easy once he hits level 6. And for Alpha, their game plan is we got to get Catjug, we got to get Assassin into a side lane trying to exert some pressure. We got to get this Akali rolling or else it gets a little bit disaster. And you also mentioned earlier during this draft that J-Team didn't really have any options to try and dive into the backline, but with a Pantheon, he has an easy-to-go ultimate.
And I think that's the scary part, considering that for Alpha, they are going to be hoping to burst someone down, especially seeing the Pantheon at the opposite side. But with that said, Pantheon is quite the anti-assassin champion right now that's quite popular in the mid lane, but now he's in the jungle, so this actually answers well still against this Catjug pick in the jungle.
Well, it's going to get a little bit scary here, especially we're going to see some new picks come out from both of these squads. We're also seeing new players enter on into the Rift, and it's also in the middle of playoffs too. So for Driver, this is a bit of a I gotta say, I gotta hope that there isn't any butterflies in the stomach there as you get to make your debut for J-Team in the middle of playoffs. It is, again, do or die for both of these squads as we head on into the Rift here for Game 1 between J-Team and Alpha.
I am so hyped. Just as you mentioned, a lot of mystery, especially for J-Team, with 3 different variables in comparison to what we've seen majority of the regular season, and now we've got 2 assassins on the side of Alpha, Kha'Zix and Akali. This is going to be pretty crazy if you ask me.
Then we go on to the Rift for our first game, which should be very explosive, to be honest. Especially once we hit about those level 6, once we actually get to see this Pantheon try and make plays. That I honestly think are just going to be mainly counter ganks coming out from Hana. I don't really see him really trying to kickstart any of these lanes. Maybe he tries, hunt down toward the bot lane of Alpha to try and find some picks onto this forest. Because, like we mentioned, Alpha did have the opportunity to take away the Kench here, which, again, I'm shocked that they didn't. Kino just wanted to play this Nautilus, and it goes a little bit in line with what this composition is aiming to do, is lock down one of these key carries and then just rip them apart. But you got to understand that J-Team, they have 4 damage threats on their squad, on top of then a Kench for the safety. So even if they take down 1, they still have to deal with 3 others.
That's true. And for Alpha, they do have as well 3 main damage dealers, if you will, a lot of burst. And you did mention what if Atlan goes for the Snipe build, which is going to be perfect as well when it comes to trying to it synergizes well with Assassin and what Assassin and Catjug wants to do in the later phases.
Yeah, for them to, you're going to be looking toward the later part of the game. I'm interested whether or not Atlan, like you mentioned, they have 2 different styles of builds. I figure with this composition, the fact that you're also running a Kha'Zix himself, similar, is going to have a lethality build that doesn't necessarily scale super good into the late game. Sure, he can get on one of these squishy target members, but he'll likely get blown up by Lil V or Driver. Hell, even the Pantheon late game if he's not careful, because he's going to be jumping in, but a nice hook coming out there from Kino.
Oh, nicely done. And that's another route. There's the exhaust being dropped onto Nesty, but Kino's getting focused on really hard right now. And as well as Kino still getting that flash, not burned. And at this point, it's just an exchange of summoner spells for Nesty.
Yeah, we see Hana also pathing nearby. Catjug has actually finished off both his buffs, so he does have level 3, and he's going to be able to make it to the Tri-Brush first if he wants to, but that's the engage.
Oh, that's going to be a flash towards Nesty. Again, he doesn't have any summoner spells left, but here comes Hana. Catjug going to try and escape, but first blood goes to J-Team.
And there you go. That's kind of what this Pantheon is mainly here to do, is just counter gank, even before that level 6 that we were mentioning. So that's a really good job here by J-Team. And unfortunately for Alpha, you really wanted to try and be the ones to strike first on the map. But now that the fact that this Senna and Kench have been able to get some assist goal, they weren't taken down, they're not going to be slowed down in the lane, it doesn't bode well. And on top of that, this Pantheon getting a kill early means he can go ahead and try and rush his Warriors and Champ very early, and just the efficiency you get early on from that is absolutely insane.
Exactly, and level 3 in general, quite strong. In the mid lane though, Catjug just gonna pass through and path towards top side, with Kino actually making an early roam, most likely gonna get that vision down a track where Hana is going to be.
Yeah, vision game is going to be pretty critical for both of these squads. The fact though that Kino's actually roamed up toward the top side of the map, I don't really understand this, considering there isn't a Rift Herald to fight over. It's still 4 minutes into the game. I don't blame our observers. This is Alpha trying to play really wacky here to maybe see if they can catch Hana on a rotation toward his blue buff. Unfortunately, I think they're just going to be able to get the steal, but that's pretty much it.
Yeah, it's going to be a steal, and the back of the roam of Kino perfectly times well with Lil V's port back to base, so it all ends well, but this could be a potential gank at topside. Rock, half HP though. Summoner spell still intact for Catjug at least. Kino, none. Let's see how this is going to go. Again, Gangplank is going to get stunned, is going to get locked, and at this point, the kill will go to Catjug, and this is going to be the plan in mind, and it's working.
All right, so I was wondering where Kino was going to actually do here. Luckily, he shows himself. He is a Nautilus, so he can tank up a bit of tower shots. That does allow the Pantheon to, then go up into the blue side jungle to try and steal stuff away from Alpha. We'll take another look here. It's a rather clean execution. Kino's going to be the one trying to tank things up, and unfortunately for Drivers, not a whole lot you can do as a Gangplank early, as we saw here, possibly a play toward the bot lane as J-Team were looking for a dive on tier 2.
Yeah, I think this is the Hana special that we usually see during the regular season, especially if they see that perhaps it's a bot lane that they can take on early, considering it is a Pantheon. Unfortunately, I don't think they didn't get to manage to burn any of the summoner spells, so it all works well for Alpha.
Yeah, so Alpha at least gets something back on the map, and it gets Catjung, at least he gets to stay on the same level as Hana, especially that both of these junglers are going to be kind of, operating on a lethality build in most cases, unless we're seeing, a tanky Pantheon jungle, which that might be the case here for Hana. That might be the route that they decide to go with, because they don't really actually have a front line at the moment other than this Kench, but he's always going to be sticking right beside Lil V or Kiarb during these fights, so I think that actually would be a better option here for Hana if he decided to go with it. We'll see whether or not, though, they decide to try and, punish Driver a bit more on the top side of the map, especially now that Rock has hit that level 6. So, especially when you always pick a Gangplank, you're usually the target focus for a lot of junglers. So, the fact he's actually only been dove once here by Alpha, I think is a bit of a shock to me, but we do have a Dragon spot.
Agreed, and it's going to get harder once Driver has that level 6, because Kyan Barrage really does help a lot in terms of trying to slow down, at least scare away and remove the wave for that dive that Alpha likes to do. But here we go, J-Team, they do have that first dragon for themselves, and for Alpha, this is fine, because usually they give up 2 dragons in the first few minutes of the game just because they're more focused on top side.
I'm a little concerned though, because if you start giving over dragon control, especially this early, especially when you're going to, I'm guessing, run more lethality build. We haven't really seen exactly what Atlan is trying to go with his build, but it'll pretty much depend on what he builds. First item will depend pretty much on when Alpha can win this game, as Rock is still being able to get some good trades. We haven't seen a whole lot of action toward this mid lane either, but Hana could be making a play here.
Yeah, Cure actually has the Emperor's Divide already, but we did mention the roams coming from Assassin. This could potentially go over at top side, but then not a lot of priority for Assassin, so it might be a little bit risky. Catjug again lingering around at top side though.
Yeah, Driver, he doesn't have a whole lot of mana here. He is popping his Corrupting Pot to at least try and get some back. He does have level 6 though, so that Cannon Barrage does an okay amount of damage underneath the tower, at least slows down the targets, but Rock can always tank stuff up, and without a ward in this brush, he's pretty much a sitting duck here if Catjung decided to actually pull the trigger. He opted not to though. I don't think they're confident enough. They wanted to see if they could get Driver a little bit lower on health.
True, and I think they didn't have information as well where Hana is, especially if he reaches level 6, he can immediately try to get a gank. Counter gank rather, and now Catjug is spotted in the enemy jungle, or in their own jungle rather, and it's no kills, no ganks is gonna happen just yet.
But you see here what Catjung always loves to do when he's in a jungle, especially in a heavy aggressive matchup. He loves to invade, and Hana's been actually slowed down. He's not going to get his level 6 until now, clearing his second red buff, because Catjung's been able to steal away a decent chunk of the jungle, and that slows down the efficiency of this Pantheon. You always want to get that level 6 right away and try and make a play happen. So far, they haven't been able to really do that because Hana's been preoccupied having to just babysit the top side of the map. He should be able to get it now off these Krugs, I do believe, as he's very close to now that level 6, so maybe they try and make a play, but bot lane's pushed in. There's not a whole lot that J-Team can really do with this level 6 now hit for the Pantheon.
Yeah, considering that Kino also made a roam, Nestido has his level 6 already, so this will definitely help even out the numbers with the Abyssal Voyage, just in case things get a little bit too sticky.
Here you go.
And meanwhile, oh, there's the exhaust towards Atlan. There's the dive coming from Hana. And meanwhile, Nesty has a lot of shields, and they focus on Atlan. That's mission accomplished. ADC down. Nesty quite low already. Catjug lingering around the shadows. His focus is on towards Lil V. There's a Devour. Everyone is so low. This could be another execution. There's the flash towards Lil V. And with that said, Assassin comes to the rescue as well. And I don't think we have Cure managing to escape. And that's a lot of kills towards Alpha.
Yeah, honestly, that's the worst way this could have possibly gone here for J-Team. I like the idea. Try and get Atlan while he's alone, and it all starts off with Nesty just going directly toward him underneath the tower. But you see both ultimates completely miss their main target of Atlan. If one of those hit, they're able to actually end this fight a lot sooner, and they can exit underneath the tower, but they get a little bit greedy. They want to try and finish off Kino, and that gives enough time now for Catjug to come out of the jungle and just play cleanup. And how long this fight goes, even with Kior being here, decides not to pop Emperor's Divide until trying to escape, but he was already tagged by the Shuriken, so Assassin's able to clean up.
Oh, there's another gank at topside, but this is Rock this time around. Let's see if there's going to be another exchange kill with Hana getting that kill against Rock, and action doesn't stop, it seems, but the kill score for Catjug and Assassin, this is exactly where the place where they want to be.
So there you go. J-Team are at least able to get something back toward the top side of the map. They might be able to also to translate this to the Rift Herald without a proper contest coming in from Alpha. Catjug will be over on the other side of the wall if he decides to lay down some vision, but it looks like Hana's going to be able to sneak this without any issue. That does mean Catjug could look for a play on the top side of the map.
That could be the case. There's the electrocute pop. Driver gonna run for the hills, and Catjug, though, doesn't have any information where the rest of J-Team is, especially Hana, so he backs away.
But this is kind of massive here for J-Team. The fact they're able to get this Rift Herald on top of First Dragon and also know that Catjug is on the top side of the map means they can also go ahead and set up for the second Cloud Drake. Let's take a look here back, though. It looks like it's just Driver, you know, acting all innocent. I think Rock he's known to be this kind of super aggressive player. I like the idea of trying to go for this play, but unfortunately, without any cooldowns, you're going up against a Gangplank that also has Corrupting Pot, so he's going to be able to get himself back up to near full health, and there's no reason for Rock trying to check this push.
Exactly, and it's going to be an easy kill. Good bait coming from J-Team, and at least they managed to equalize their losses from such an unfortunate dive that they started with, again, getting a lot of kills, putting a lot of kills on towards key members of Alpha, and for sure it's going to be very painful later on, as we've seen the early game damage dealt by this Akali and as well as this Kha'Zix.
All right, so on top of this, Alpha have been able to at least get some decent priority. It looks like Hana would instead want to try and force the Rift Herald toward the top side of the map, try and get Driver a little bit unlocked out of his lane. That looks to be the play here, and that'll give them some turret gold over onto the Gangplank, which is always nice. They do trade it for second Dragon. Not end of the world, though, as it is only the lone Cloud Drake. It isn't going to be stacking into anything else, but we do have Infernal now onto the map. Let's see, though. Kior might need to be a little bit careful here.
Whoa! Oh, there's the Emperor's Survive. There's the shuffle. Kiorb is still going to fall, and right now, that's a snipe coming from downtown. Lil V gets a return kill.
Yeah, unfortunately, the Senna ult did not connect there, so it doesn't look like he gets a credit or anything, but a little bit of a wacky Emperor's Divide coming out there, but in comes the teleport here for Alpha. They want to try and trade back in bot lane.
This is going to be another fight with Rock rushing in, trying to find Lil V. There's the miss activated. Lil V is going to get outnumbered. There's another dredge line from Kino, and with that, they get another kill for Alpha.
So Rock is able to get himself a nice teleport. That does mean, though, the top side of the map is going to start getting taken down pretty faster, especially with the Sheen Gangplank. Let's take a look here. Kiorb really trying to go for a fancy play, and I actually love what he tried to do. He does get the return kill. If it wasn't for Kino, he would have survived, but we'll take a look toward the top side of the map. Driver was able to get a decent chunk of damage onto that tier 2, so they trade the teleport kill for a little bit of tower damage on the top side of the map. Not the end of the world, but we do finally get to see what this build is going to be from the Varus, and it is going to be going this lethality. So for Alpha, the window of opportunity for this game, you're looking at about that 27 to 35 minute mark. That is where they are going to be feeling like they have the strongest opportunity to try and close out this game. The fact, though, that J-Team still has themselves a small little gold advantage doesn't bode well, and you'd like to see Alpha be a little further ahead at this point.
Yeah, and we've seen a couple of games where Alpha obviously not very comfortable with such a small gap between the gold lead. But good news is still, though, for Kadjung and Assassin, they got a lot of kills in the earlier engage. But right now, you're right, it is going to be that lethality build for Atlan. It works perfectly with what Alpha wants to do. You get a little bit sniped, so a little bit of snipes here and there, chunk the backline, and you have Kadjug and Assassin to finish off those low health targets. And I feel like we might get a preview of that soon, especially when it comes to the lanes that are still intact, especially bot side.
Yeah, because unfortunately, Alpha haven't been really able to crack open this bot lane freeze that's just been established by Lil V and ST, which unfortunately means they can't, try and, stay in the center of the map in that mid lane, trying to clear out minion waves as long as possible. Lil V and Nesty, they're saying, hey, we're fine keeping you down on this bot lane. It means this Varus isn't able to try and chunk out Kior while he's trying to farm. And it just means Driver also still has time to continue scaling on this Gangplank because he's now finished off his Trinity Force. We'll see, though, what Alpha decides to do. It's still a lot of defensive vision that came down for J-Team, but was immediately cleared out here by Alpha.
Yeah, only a little left as Kadjug walking deeper into the jungle towards the Raptors. Hana lying in wait. He wants to pull the trigger. There's the stun. Abyssal Voyage coming right in, and there's the leap to safety, but it's not going to save Kadjug at all. Kior finishing him off.
And that little bit of vision, it doesn't matter that Kadjug actually had 3 levels on this Kha'Zix pick over the Pantheon, that with that little bit of vision, they're able to get the knowledge that they need, and they get rid of one of the prime threats on the map that allows Kiorb and Driver to at least get some pressure here. Does Assassin want to try and go in for the solo kill? In comes Kino.
Oh, we'll have to see, as that's a fully stunned on Assassin maneuvering around the shadows. It doesn't matter, Lil V will assassinate him as well. Meanwhile, there's the Set trying to escape danger, and there's the lock-in by Lil V, and it doesn't matter. Alpha loses 2 members.
Yeah, Alpha are trying to play as though they are even when it comes to the gold. If they were even, this fight might go a different direction. It's going to come all the way back here to this quick pick, which, again, is a very nice ultimate coming out from Nesty. He's able to get the exhaust down. That really locks down Kiorb. Kadjug for Kior. But then we take another look here, and this is Alpha. They're like, okay, we have to make something happen or else we're going to lose this mid lane tower. They're able to save it, But again, they are playing as though they are equal on gold. If they were, I think this is a play that goes in their favor. But unfortunately, when you're going into a 2v4 like this and Rock's getting to the fight very late, Atlan isn't even here until now, where he hasn't even launched an auto attack. Unfortunately, it's going to come down to the communication of who's making these shot calling decisions on the side of Alpha, because it continues to plague them.
Considering that they did J-Team as well locked in this Pantheon, so it has been the bane of these squishy assassins. And once they appear and try to engage, especially the assassin is going to be vulnerable at the backline, then for Hana, it's going to be an easy stun combo. And meanwhile, Alpha is going to get this Drake with the no contest whatsoever. J-Team, though, walking towards that part of the map. Atlan, oh, there's a nicely done hook by Kino over there, and Kyorb is already half HP. Nice slow from Catjug. He's gonna leap towards, he's gonna get that flash, one more auto, and that's gonna be a shutdown towards Kyorb in the mid lane. And for now, it looks like it's not gonna stop as Kino gets another hook towards members of J-Team. Assassin coming from the side with Driver in the middle of it all, and that's gonna be no other kills, a lot of kills from Alpha.
And there you go. That's the kind of fights that you need to take if you're on the side of Alpha. Scrappy fights. Now, the fact they're going to keep on going might be a different question.
What? It is going to be another kill for Alpha, and it seems to me J-Team, especially Lil V, is so close to danger, and there's the Devour. Not going to work, as you can tell with Nesty is going to be very, very close to dying, but it seems to me he does have Flash. So right now, for Alpha, they're pretty much happy for the extra kills that they've gotten in the jungle.
So J-Team trying to keep taking these fights, which, honestly, Nesty and Lil V, I don't care whether or not you're trying to defend a Raptor camp. It's, what, 20 minutes? Raptors don't mean a whole lot, to be honest. So the fact that they were willing to fight and lose another member there, it brings the gold difference to about 2,000, which is manageable here for Alpha, especially, like I mentioned, we're closing in onto those 2 to 3 item power spikes where the lethality teams really start to shine. It all comes off with, again, a good Dragon Take and a lot of vision denial. Even with the control wards being placed down here by J-Team, they still decided to walk into the river, and that's the question here is, for J-Team, they themselves look like they have communication issues. Driver's trying to frontline, you're only a gangplank here. This is the issue, especially when the fact that Hana is chunked down to half health, that they don't really have this frontline, and it comes back to this. I really don't understand what the whole idea here is, you know, trying to jump in where you have Kino that's going to have a change CC to lock down one of your members. That is the easiest takeaway.
Exactly, and especially his target was Rock as well, and with that, a lot of summoners are burned for your AD carry and as well as your support, so that's not going to be available, and I feel like that is so key against Assassin and Kajog, especially when they do dives, and for that, I feel like Alpha will try to take advantage of that window. Oh dear.
Oh
okay.
Boy. Assassin?
Assassin. Alright, it's gonna shifting sands forward, but for that, I feel like Assassin has a little bit of spider senses tingling and, well, not take on the challenge.
I am going to say here, I'm a bit concerned with Hana's Pantheon, especially this game. He has decided to go a little bit more into a tanky route with a little bit more of a brawler style build. I'm going to guess into a Black Cleaver next. But the fact that he's only level 10 at 20 minutes when Catjug is level 13, he's actually been able to just out-farm Hana completely. And this Pantheon, I don't think has been as impactful as J-Team has hoped. They still, though, should be able to take this tower, but Kino wants to defend it.
Oh, there's another dredge line coming from Kino. Corrupted. Chain of Corruption's actually hitting a couple of members, but seems to me Kino quite low already. Will J-Team pull the trigger? Will they want to get that last barrel? It seems that's not going to be the case, as Rift Herald is unleashed by Alpha. Meanwhile, they'll try their best to at least remove this piece and deny value away from Alpha with that Rift Herald. And it seems to me it's going to be a little bit calm as Alpha decides to back away.
Yeah, I think the Rift Herald was actually expiring, so Catjug had to kind of place it, which kind of brings into question, you know, what has he been doing for the last 4 minutes? He has been fighting, so he has a good reason at least not to have used the Rift Herald, but that's going to be a little bit of a waste there coming out from Alpha. They'll want to have that back, but J-Team now find themselves 2,000 gold ahead as they've been able to get some freestanding gold on the map. They're still looking to try and take this first tier tower in mid lane. You also, with them claiming this first tier tower, should allow them to get a little bit more map control, especially down toward the Dragon area. As you can see, they've already lined up a decent amount of ward coverage. They're looking for a reset here. Kyorb's got to be very careful, though.
Oh, he is already pressing that B button. Catjug, though, being very patient, it seems to me. Kyorb is going to come back home safely to base, and looks like no kills for Alpha.
So Alpha are able to at least clear out a little bit of vision, but now that the fact that Catjung's all the way on the top side of the map, he's going to be forced to back, but you're already a little bit too late on this Dragon reset. So if Alpha want to try and claim the third Dragon, J-Team should have control if they're able to establish vision. A good arrow, though, onto Lil V. Those are the kind of arrows that Atlan needs to be hitting before a lot of these objective fights. If he's able to, that alone should be enough to force J-Team off objectives.
And it's been working well, especially with the Senna pick. You have that form sustain to sort of deny the pokes coming from Atlan. So with that said, there is another route against Kino, and he's choked down pretty low. Cannon Barrage for the extra soul. Rock in the middle of it all. There's the Grand Slam, and that's going to be shut down towards Kino. Rock is very low as well. There's the Haymaker for extra shield, but it don't matter as Assassin is in the backline. He's trying his best. He's dashing away. That's going to be a double kill for Kyorb, and Alpha loses the fight.
And it comes back to the setup of these fights. Are you actually going to be able to eliminate any of these squishy targets, especially if Catjug is trying to jump on top of the frontline Pantheon? That's what he ended up using his first jump during that fight, and he wasn't able to get really anything. He's also evolved what it looks like to be his claws, as well as, I'm going to guess, his ultimate, because he actually doesn't have the upgraded wing. So even if he tried to get a kill here, he wouldn't have gotten the reset, and you'll see this position once again. He tries to jump on Lil V, prime target, but a beautiful Devour comes out from Nestea, and that completely interrupts the game plan of Alpha. Assassin's gonna try and at least do what he can to try and maybe get a redemption kill, but unfortunately, it's just not enough. He ends up giving his life over as well.
Yeah, and there's gonna be another kill as it's not yet over. There's the ult, but Nestea is right next to Lil V for that Devour, and it seems to me for Alpha, I understand that they want to push this point of the game, considering, again, they eventually will get lose their prime when it comes to their composition, and you can see that Kyorb is always reserving that Emperor's Divide when it comes to the fights.
Yep.
And yeah.
Taking a look here, it's just Catjung, yeah. Gets himself a good little flank there. That's what happens. That's just Kha'Zix things. He hasn't been able to do it too many times, but that shows that J-Team really got to make sure that their vision game is on lock, especially not even in the brushes, but outside of the brushes, a little bit deeper into the river, because Catjung with his ultimate can easily bypass those wards if he's smart enough. And this is still a scary Kha'Zix. He got himself 3 levels over the Pantheon of Hana, so if there's not a whole lot of respect given by J-Team, Catjug will be able to punish this. But again, he really wants to try and find something up here on this top side of the map. Kyorb, oh, he's going to get spotted.
Nope.
Close.
Oh,
decides to go the
close.
safe way around and ends up saving his life.
Okay, this is what a relief for Kyorb, or else he would have been seeing that gray screen again after just coming back to life. And meanwhile, what is the game plan for Alpha? 3 minutes actually for the next dragon to spawn. It's going to be 2 apiece already. And with that, J-Team has been getting a lot of exchange skills here and there, and they're actually in the lead of gold. And at this point, this is definitely what they're aiming for with this composition, not allowing Alpha to get a humongous lead in the game.
Yeah, because like I mentioned, lethality builds, they're starting to come online for Alpha. And if the gold is even, this is a great time. But the fact that they are sitting about 5,000 gold behind J-Team itself is a bit of a pressing issue. If they're able to get more picks like we just saw with Kyorb and Catjug, awesome, this can go well. And if Driver is caught out, that's another member that, again, this is going to be the Catjug show if he's able to. But unfortunately, no, he got caught out.
Oh, he still survives. He still survives. Pop. Okay, there's the Baron though. Getting acquired by J-Team. Alpha knows this. They are aware. Rock coming from the side. There's the arrows. Is there going to be a steal? Looks like that's going to be a Devour. And no steal as Hana secures that one. With Rock going to be in the middle of it all. There's the wall separating them. And that's a kill for the side of J-Team. Nicely done snipe towards Lil V. That's the 80 carry gone. But Kyorb is still alive. Alpha still wanting to push through this as Kino looking for the hook. And it seems to me they are going to stop as J-Team is porting back.
So Driver was able to survive in the very end, so that means that's going to be 4 Baron buffs for the price of Lil V. I think J-Team will happily take it. And this means that J-Team don't even have to look for fights. They can honestly just pressure in waves, and it makes Alpha be the ones that have to force pressure. And you saw there, with Catjug showing himself all the way in bot lane, which, again, I get that you're trying to find picks onto Driver while he's split pushing, but you're past the 25-minute mark in the game. You're going up against an Azir. He can easily rip down this Baron. So we actually have started to see a lap of judgment come out of Catjug when it comes to his jungle positioning, which has been a flaw of him before and is usually indicative of a sign that the team is not communicating well, as now J-Team are going to try and get some pressure onto Rock.
Oh, that's going to be an easy stun. Rock is golden. Teleport, coming from the side of J-Team, but at this point, it is going to be murder as J-Team is now crawling slowly towards Alpha's base.
And that's what now going to be a 8,000 gold lead here for J-Team. And we talked about this window of opportunity for Alpha. Their lethality builds should be strong, but because they gave up the Baron so early, this allows J-Team to go in siege mode already. And the fact that they're not able to respond to any of the plays being put down here by J-Team, this is a huge concern. This is where Alpha is supposed to feel their strongest. It's going to be up to J-Team to make a misplay that Alpha are going to be able to try and jump on, or an insane flank from Assassin and Catjug.
And it's 30 seconds on the clock, or more or less for Alpha, for Rock rather, to spawn back. And meanwhile, Alpha is just going to watch this go down as we see Catjug trying to push mid lane as an exchange, because Dragon is actually live at the moment. And with that, Alpha has no way to exchange anything from this off of the other parts of the map.
Yeah, because even with the teleports being up and available for Rock to try and join in on this fight, there isn't going to be anything for him. And even see, Catjug is setting up for a very, very long catch onto one of these members of J-Team. He actually went path all the way behind the blue buff. If he isn't able to get anything, he's going to stand in this bush for about 30 seconds, not really getting anything else on the map. Even though he's got 3 levels on Hana, I don't like seeing time wasted. Maybe he finds an amazing flank, but you can see Lil V's 2v1ing at the moment. That's Pantheon ultimate into the Gangplank ult.
Oh, and as you can see, that's Kino going to be the first victim, as Lil V will get that kill. And unfortunately, with Catjug's positioning way over there, not able to join the fight at all.
And now that's a Kha'Zix just wasted about a minute of time on the map where J-Team are able to just continue to push in. This is them getting a bigger and bigger gold lead that, unfortunately for Alpha, their window of opportunity in this game, I'm going to say, has now passed. This is J-Team's game to lose at this point. They have everything in their hands. It's up to them to actually make a mistake here. And Alpha, unfortunately, it just seems like the communication's just falling apart here already in game 1.
Yeah, and considering that you lost your main engage tool, which is Kino on the Nautilus, at that point, Alpha has no choice. If they want to pull the trigger, they'd have to jump into an easy stun from Hana or another Emperor's Divide from Purb. And it all started here, actually, with Lil V 1v2ing.
Yeah, this is just him getting a decent amount of damage. Like Kino, if you want to go for this fight, you got to go for this fight. But the fact that they have 3 semi to global ultimates on the side of J-Team means they can answer any aggression now, especially that these members have come online, like Driver, who's sitting on level 17 and has himself 4 items completed. Catjug, sure, he might be able to get an assassination here on Hana or Kiorb. Cool. But again, he's using so much time, and this is the issue that comes with Kha'Zix, where he's able to be a massive threat in the early mid-game, but then he becomes pretty much a ward at this point for the side of Alpha. He's hoping someone goes by, but J-Team have already established that they're going to try and stick as a squad, and if not, they have the tools to get back together immediately.
True, and considering as the game progresses, J-Team is definitely going to be building more defensively. You're going to see a couple of stopwatches, a couple of Guardian Angels on the side of J-Team, and with that, just as you mentioned, Alpha's time is running out. Catjug lurking in the shadows, spots out Lil V, but Nesty is just right next to the AD carry, so that's going to be an easy devour, and that would scare off the Kha'Zix.
And you also have Lil V has Edge of Night, so he has, again, that free spell shield, so Catjug is forced to have to use his jump or his W to try and break that, and that's still like a decent amount of damage. And the fact that Catjug did actually go for the upgraded wings means he can't go for resets. So at this point, if he jumps in, if there's other members of J-Team around, he's a dead Kha'Zix. He isn't able to get himself back to safety immediately. And on top of that, he's getting scouted out here by the vision of J-Team as they press that forward through the rest of the jungle.
And with that, Catjug uses a leap towards the safety. And for Alpha, they will have to rely heavily on Kino for that engage for them to go inside the fight. But that's a lot of flashes online for J-Team, and that's the reason why it's looking pretty grim for Alpha when they entered these fights. And with that, this could be the last stand that they're looking for. That's a nicely done route towards Kino. Rock coming from the side. Let's see if there's going to be an engage, as that is the pull coming from Kino as well. Cannon Barrage to stall the back line, but as you can see, Rock in the middle of it all. Sharina, there's the Emperor's Divide, as the Assassin and Hana is quite low, but it doesn't matter. Lil V is still quite healthy. As you can see, Driver is low as well. This could be the prime time for Cat Jug to shine, but unfortunately, a lot of members have fallen already on Alpha side.
And even with the low health bars, you see Catjug cannot enter this fight. This Kha'Zix can do absolutely nothing. That's now going to be 3 inhibitors and a massive minion wave. This could be it.
And this could definitely be it. You got Lil V for that heal at least. Kino trying his best as well. There's the barrels dealing a lot of damage towards the side of Alpha, but as you can see, J-Team wins this match against Alpha.
And it all comes back to that draft on the side of Alpha. They wanted to go for this mid-game spike with the lethality builds and the Sakali to run wild, but unfortunately, for the side of J-Team, all they really have to do is just, honestly, not fight. And even then, when we did see them take fights, they were able to walk away victorious because I don't know what it is with Alpha right now. It has to come down to something with the communication because the team is all over the place.
Yeah, it's actually a little bit different considering that, again, they had a really nice early 2 kills for both Assassin and Cat Jug, and they're not able to capitalize on that too much, and it's actually pretty weird to see, especially when Cat Jug managed to get at least 2 kills. You see him everywhere on the map, but as you can see, there's a lot of respect, and that aggression was not actually fully pushed, and even engaging in 4v5s was actually one thing that really puzzled me when it comes to Alpha.
Yeah, and on top of that too, like, we praise Catjug. He's able to get himself massive level advantages, usually in his jungle matchups. Especially if you go aggressive against him, he can usually out-jungle you. But the issue becomes is, what's going to be more impactful when it comes to a later game team fight? A Pantheon or a Kha'Zix? And especially a Kha'Zix that, going the evolution route he did take, doesn't have an escape mechanism. He's either all in or he's dead. And for me, that always became the pressing issue when it was Alpha, where on top of that too, like Assassin, I'm not sold sadly on this Akali pickup for him. He had a good, 2 kills early on, but other than that, we just saw multiple times where he just really couldn't get anything. He's used all his abilities right now onto the Kench. Lil V is completely fine at this point. There's no threat to this Senna, nor less this Azir. Finally, you see Assassin jumping on in, but again, instant pile-up, and everyone's able to keep the Senna alive.
And what's scary too is that there's 2 exhausts on the side of J-Team, so they always reserve that for that initial dive, either from Cat Jug or Assassin. So they have 2 exhausts apiece for those 2 Assassins on the opposite side. So it's really, really hard. You gotta catch them off guard, or if it's going to be a 5v5 team fight, then it's a little bit, what do you call this? It's sort of calculated already, and they're expecting you on how you're going to enter the fight.
Yeah, those, a lot of people underestimate the exhaust buffs that came through a couple patches ago, and that's why we're starting to see it a lot more in other regions, like over in Japan. We've seen a little bit also over in the LPL, so especially the fact that you want to go ahead and try and, set up for this super dive composition with Assassins, but if you get within melee range, you're within exhaust range, and immediately there's your damage getting cut pretty much by 30 to 40%. You're going to get slowed down. There's not a whole lot they can do. So first game goes in favor of J-Team here after Alpha just weren't able to perform on this lethality composition. We're going to go ahead and take a short break, though, and when we come back, it's going to be game 2.